Hey, hi, I'm Rob, by the way, and we're going to take a look at some factoring. It says, show that x plus 2 is a factor of x fourth plus 2x to the third minus 27x minus 54. Now, the first thing I want to emphasize is that one way to tell if something's a factor is just by plugging in the opposite of what's given. By which I mean to say, we have x plus 2 is a factor if and only if, I like to underline that phrase because it comes up a lot in math, if and only if f of negative 2, I think that's a 2, not a w, equals 0. So that's one thing you could do would be to just plug in negative 2 to f and see if it gives you 0. And it will. You could use a calculator for that if you want, but it won't really help you all that much with factoring. So the way to to factor this, I think the best method is synthetic division. So what I'm going to do here is I'm going to write out negative 2, that same root, that 0, the thing that when you plug in gives you 0. And then I'm going to write all the coefficients here. 1 for x fourth has an invisible 1 in front of it. The x cubed has a 2. And now the most common mistake people would make at this point would be to write negative 27. But it's very important, there's an x squared that's missing, and you can't just skip it. You have to include it. If you skip it, it'd be like 1,503 is the same as 153. Well, that's not true. We know that's not true. And the same way, skipping a place in here would just be wrong. So we have to put a 0 here for the x squared. Then after that, there's negative 27 for the regular x, and negative 54 for the constant term. And I'll try to keep this as straight as possible. So the process for synthetic division is pretty easy. There are only 2 steps, that is multiply and add. When you have long division, you have divide, multiply, subtract, bring down. It's a lot more steps. So here's what I'm going to do. First, I bring down the 1. I have to start somewhere. And I say multiply. Negative 2 times 1 is negative 2. And if you add, you get 0. Then I multiply in. Negative 2 times 0 is 0. Add, you get 0. Negative 2 times 0 is 0. Add, you get negative 27. Negative 2 times negative 27 is 54. Add, you get 0. And there's no remainder. This would be the remainder, and it's very important that this be 0. Otherwise, you did something wrong. Negative 2 doesn't go in evenly. So we're not done. But what this says, it would be if you divide by x plus 2, you're left with x cubed, because we start 1 lower, plus 0x squared plus 0x minus 27. So now we need to divide again. Well, we just think, what's a factor of x cubed minus 27? What's a root of that? Well, it'd be 3. Plug in 3, you get this. So we do this again. Up here, 3. Get 1 comes down as 1. Times 3 is 3. 0 plus 3 is 3. 3 times 3 is 9. 0 plus 9 is 9. 3 times 9 is 27. 27 plus negative 27 is 0. And that's good. That means, again, if we hadn't gotten a remainder 0, it means we picked wrong. It would mean that our guess that 3 was a root was wrong. So we're now left with, we've factored into x plus 2 was our first factor. We divided by 3. We used a root of 3, so that means x minus 3, always the opposite sign for these. It's our second. And the third would be what we have down here, which is x squared plus 3x plus 9. And those are our 3 factors. Now, can we factor this further? Well, you'd have to find solutions to this. You would plug this into quadratic formula. But what's going to turn out is that this has no real solution. So unless you're using imaginary numbers, which I don't think you are at this stage, you're done.